ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Brightworks. Laying before us here, illuminated by the brilliant lights of the Aurora Borealis, we have Ice Cream version 2.5. What a beautiful map. What an epic map. And man, we're long due for some coverage on this one. There's been some interesting updates. I was going to say incredible, but rethinking my words on that one. Haven't been able to stomach looking at this map since they changed it within hours of my my Nuke Rush guide coming out for this map. Those were good times back in the days. That was long before the Commander update. That was back when there was a geothermal plant up here on this northern area. Very, very heavily incentivized any sort of nuclear rush. Much less so here, but who knows what we're going to see coming out of our players today. Why don't we meet our players, speaking of which, spawning here on the western half for our red team leader, Brenny. Brenny, level 20 true skill, but definitely enough chevrons to prove that they've played this game for at least a while. They know what they're doing. They've got 2 T1 solar panels up, so we'll see if I eat my words based on how many more they decide to go for here. Spawning on the eastern side for our blue team, our blue seal, going to be... See, I'm not sure why that came to mind. Anyway, spawning here, going to be representing our blue team. Also, going for a lot of T1 solars, worrying me to no end. We have Akreli. I hate to say this, but your red counterpart has 2 T1 solar panels, and you have 3. Which does mean that I am unfortunately obligated to support them on this matter. Oh, hold on. The turns have tabled. It looks like... Oh no, you're going up to 4 as well? Okay, well... We'll just have to see who can be more agitating to my T1 solar panel senses here in the late game. But, on a change of note here, a more positive note. I'm sure you're all sick and tired of hearing about me complain about T1 solar panels. Kurdian has made the first units and sent them, well, almost across. We're at least halfway here. If they don't move soon, I'm actually going to have to redact that the award I was about to give here for getting the first unit out and across on the field. That award has sort of changed over time. It used to be get a unit out on the field, but now it's taken on a different meaning. It's more get a unit out and across the field here. I realize that it's probably unlikely that a Cortex player is ever going to win this with the presence of the tick and the prevalence of the bot lab in this game. Sort of unfair to our Cortex commanders. But man, nobody wants to claim the title right now. Ooh, it looks like Mythan. Mythan has decided they've had enough of nobody winning this title. Decided they want to impress me this game, making their debut appearance here. Although they do have a lot of T1 solar panels. We're starting up an advanced one in the base though, so that really makes me happy. Although these ticks are running straight into grunts, I still am going to award the Get a Unit Out and About on the Field award to Mythan. Congratulations to our hot pink player. Who better to win it than our hot pink player here? And we do actually find, wow, talk about a meetup. These 6 ticks find each other in the darkness. The ticks to find them and in the darkness bind them as they group up on this lone constructor vehicle. Now 3 of these ticks break into the back lines here. They are going to harass down a metal extractor as well as a radar tower, which is quite nice. That means these ticks are going to be difficult to keep a track of if we don't see another radar tower built anytime soon here. 2 of those ticks go down to the explosion as well as the blitz firing here, and the 3rd one will go down to a grunt. But yeah, two metal extractors for 3 ticks, definitely well worth it. Also, there was this one up on the hill. I guess that got denied as well. So why don't we call it 3? Spice Merchant. Yes, one of the spice traders of the Dune universe apparently has crash landed here and is making it their duty to extract the spice melange from this planet's surface and send it back home. Apparently, on Ice Cream, the melange is white colored and it tastes like vanilla ice cream. So it's a rare treat for Emperor Atreides here. Emperor, what's his name? Leto Atreides. Anyway, blitz line formed up against the grunt line here. Grunt line formed up against the grunt line. Well, this is a much nicer engagement, of course, if you have your grunts wrapping around in this direction, pushing forward like this against a nice line of grunts. You're basically taking off one grunt at a time, meaning you're basically taking a bunch of individual 1 versus 10s. You can think of it like that, 1 versus 12 fights in a row, as opposed to a big 12 versus 12 engagement. But now these grunts have actually come around to the back lines here, giving them a nice little surround advantage, actually, because there's a few trailing in from behind here, and so these grunts are going to die with much more efficiency. Somehow that sentence doesn't quite make as much sense as I think I intended it to. But still, I think you understand what I'm saying here. Oh, a little bit of a commander duel here. Kurdian is going to have to back off, because now that you cannot degun the commander, you're going to have to laser down the enemy commander, which does mean that Kurdian's in a little bit of trouble. Yeah, you got to back off, mate. 29%, you're definitely going to go down first. The Spice Merchant is aggressively eating up all that metal, which is really nicely done. Very, very nice way to gain a small but noticeable impact on your early game economy here. Really, really like to see that. Static defense lines are slowly being pushed up here. Static defense triangles, more like. Well, that was a nice shot from that Rocketeer. Going to be firing at the commander as well as the laser turret up here on this tower. We could probably throw it on a wall and it might actually protect this tower here. But is there really a point? Eventually, we're not really going to need it. We do see a scout produced by Blue Serpent. We are going for we already have an air lab out, as well as the advanced solar panels here. We also have an air lab out for the Borg. However, the Borg player is playing as a Cortex. So what that means is that they're going to, of course, have access to these shurikens, which can make a huge impact on the early game. Just a couple shurikens can paralyze one of these early game armies and completely cripple it. And sometimes that's all you need in order to break through and eliminate at least one player here. Grunt Lines accidentally stepping in front of their aggravator support here and leaving bloody trails all over the battlefield. Tons of wreckages here, by the way. I would love to see a Resbot pumped out. Ooh, it's already on the way. Very, very nicely done by Akreli. Despite the amount of T1 solar panels you have on the field, I'm still proud to see that we are bringing Resbots out and about to show off here. Brenny has decided against for their better judgment to switch into wind production here. Although I think I like advanced solars a little bit better than wind, we might as well just eat up these T1s and turn them into maybe 2 advanced solar panels here. That would serve us a whole lot better, especially with a couple of these energy converters, which we do already have down, so that's quite nice. We're looking for a tech transition out of Divine Evil. Indeed, we do see one, actually. We're stalling on metal, but only because we haven't reclaimed our bot lab, we haven't reclaimed our T1 solar panels, we haven't reclaimed our commander. The metal is here. In fact, I can even show you the metal is here. Like, if I well, the commander's not going to be worth 2,700, so I guess that's a skewed perspective here, but the vehicle plant sure will be worth 750 or 740, so that's 1,250 out of this commander. That's 740. Would that be exactly 1,990? Anyway, it'd be right around 2,000 plus an extra, I don't know, 465 tied up in T1 solar panels. Yeah, you'd have the metal for this. This is also partially built too, so you'd have the metal for this in no time. There we go. We are eating up the bot lab. Or the vehicle lab, rather. We're a little slow on this. Usually you can get these out by about 6 or 7 minutes. But still, we're eventually going to see that tech coming up here. I know I'm neglecting the front lines here. There are shurikens on the front. That's actually really nice. Just like I was saying, these can be super devastating to the early units here. Making sure to freeze them, and then the remaining units can push in and mop them up nice and neatly. Very nicely done. We are now pushed all the way back to our static defense lines, which is really, really good to see. Spice Merchant could actually afford to be quite a bit more aggressive here. Wow, Nathan... What's it, Nathan Piggy? Well, okay. Nathan Piggy takes down the commander over here. Although their name surprised me, I have to give them props for their nice tactical decision to destroy their enemy. It's about as basic a tactical decision as it gets. But no less effective now as it has been for the last, 20,000 years of warfare. Moving the commander forward to eat up this wreckage. That's some delicious metal scrap. And we're definitely going to be happy to fold that back into our army here. Aggravators trying their very best to push down this turret here. Some of them realize, wait, we can just shoot at the commander. And indeed, the commander takes a lot of damage, although a lot of these aggravators do go down. In fact, all of the aggravators do go down. Was that trade worth it? I don't know. The commander can't be quite as aggressive here, so that's quite nice. Commander can also push in. Remember, there's no degunning between these commanders. They can't kill each other except unless it is with a laser blast here. So certainly we could move in. We can of course degun the lightning turret. No rules against that at all. Oh, commander steps in front actually. Huge play. Commander actually steps in front. Nathan Piggy goes down to the lightning turret. Oh, both commanders will go down. But that is definitely a trade worth taking here. Spice Merchant is actually going to be able to have a nice little advantage. Shurikens are here as well to try and stop this push. Just in the nick of time. I'd love to see him fly over in this direction so that we can paralyze all these units, essentially shutting down all of the defensive reflex from Kurdian here. But very, very nicely done there by, well, actually it was really nicely done by Kurdian to step in front of the tower so that it couldn't be degunned. But it was overall a strategic benefit, I believe, to Nathan Piggy to sacrifice the army in order to kill that commander. That's going to be another 2 commanders worth of metal that they can fold back into their army, although Spice Merchant looks to be eager to get their hands on some of that, and I don't blame them. T2 is up and out now, at least for the blue team. Neferos has got T2, well, at least a T2 constructor out. Have we handed out any more? I would love to see one handed at least forward to these 2 players at the very least. Loads of blitzes making it to the back line here. Yes. No, not those. The T1. Yes, tear down the solar panels. Murder them. The sound of T1 solar panels is music to my ears. Technically, these advanced solar panels are more efficient. You know, like if you take these down, you're doing more damage, but I'm always going to support taking down the T1 solar panels first. Yeah, that's real nice. Breaking a whole bunch of these T1 solar panels. More and more tanks are consistently streaming through here. We have these grunts rushing forwards, aggravators helping with long-range fire support. Going to be softening these armies up a little bit as they go. Although a lot of them are firing directly into the ground here, which is not ideal. Subpar, you might say. But yeah, tons of damage has been done by these purple tanks here. Spice Merchant making sure they get these vehicles right into an inconvenient spot for the enemy here. Oh, a battery went down too. That's always really unfortunate. You just lose a ton of resources there. Not as bad as a metal storage, I would say, but still bad nonetheless. T2 vehicle is produced here, but we are going to make our front line tech up on themselves. Ah, man, now where could they get the metal to fund this T2 lab? Is it A, from their teammates' lab? No, you don't want to do that. Is it B, from reclaiming their build power here? No, that can't be right. Is it C, reclaiming their other lab? Well, that's true, but is it the best answer? No, the best answer is going to be D. That's right, reclaiming 2,550 metal out of their T1 solar panels. Nathan Piggy showing us that they are capable of an excellent amount of strategic decision on the front line. But could not keep their piggy hands off of this juicy inefficiency here. Regardless, enough bagging on Nathan Piggy. Nathan, I do apologize. Maybe that was a little too rude here, a little bit too harsh. You did get the T2 factory up, and you probably should have received a T2 from your backliner here. You probably shouldn't have had to build a T2 lab all on your own off of a frontline economy. But sometimes that is what happens, and you just have to work with what you got. So kudos to you for making do with whatever you can. Are we trying to body block with this? Oh, we're resurrecting here, or reclaiming rather. I thought we were trying to plug the hole here with the constructor bot. That was actually really clever. Gonna like try and hold position it or something. Now at this point, Diamond Dreams is really looking rough. No, sorry. Tyree Rons. Our brown player here. Base is not looking great. We have 1 heavy laser turret, 1 advanced solar panel, and a couple of constructors and a bot lab to our name. We are going to restart those mexes. That's absolutely the right move here. I'd love to see some resurrection bots as well. Some of those grave robbers pumped out. Those are going to be phenomenal for putting this army back into commission here. Light gunship has even been brought out to the front. Always a desperation move when you see a single light gunship anywhere on the map. Basically 0 damage. But, you know, over an infinite amount of time, they're eventually going to get something done, but nothing tremendous. We are up to T2, though, so that is quite nice. We've basically rushed straight up to the T2 stage here. Neither player going for a nuke rush, which is nice to see. We actually haven't quite gotten to T2 for the Borg here. I guess they must have been focusing a little bit more heavily on frontline production. Also, we're still producing out of this. We're trying to produce a transport while teching up. Really, we should focus on the transport, then eat the lab and use it to tech up. I think that would probably be the most efficient course of action here, but what am I to say? I'm much less offended by this much advanced solar panels here. You can see we're producing nearly 1,200 energy here, but still remember that this is a ton of energy, and we already have the T2 constructor out. This is more than enough to step up to a couple fusion reactors here. We could get to almost two fusion reactors off of this much advanced solar. I like it a whole lot more than this much T1 solar, but just something to keep in mind. Now this push was eventually held. Maces, the last remaining bastion, holding the Seafoam horde here. Grunts and Thugs are continuing to stream forward, but yeah, it's about time we just take the positional advantage here and retreat. Although I guess I wouldn't mind a one more round here just with a couple res bots in order to clean up all of this metal. And once we've done that, then we can focus on retreating and building up a Tech 2 economy here. Tech 2 Constructor is out. We are going to start upgrading our metal extractors. It's a great move. Definitely what you want to start with. I am noticing that we're queuing these one by one. Handy little trick for you. If you just hit Z or Z, as in zebra, and then you hit it again, it pulls up the automatic metal extractor thing. You just left click and drag, and it highlights in a big circle. And any metal extractors within that circle, it will apply the default metal extractor for that tier 2. So for Cortex or Armada, we'll put a T2 metal extractor down, and it'll do that automatically for you. It just saves you about, I don't know, 3 APM. not a whole lot, but if you have to do it, if you have to do it over the course of a game many times, which sometimes you do, yeah, it can definitely be the difference here. T2 gunship is actually caught out in the open, and it will get shot down by a bunch of T1 fighters. An embarrassing death for a T2 gunship. They should definitely be escorted properly with a bunch of these T2 fighters, but unfortunately that one was the shock gunship here. We have some cloaked fusion reactors. Very nice. I think that is something that we're failing to see here is bombers. We haven't seen bombers come out from either of these players, despite having air players on the map for quite a while. Commanders probably should have been sacrificed in the backline here. There's no reason to keep a commander up and alive. That's just an extra 1,000 metal that's really should just be in your back pocket. It's not like anybody's going to be able to put anything worth degunning in your base anytime soon. Short of dropping your commander on the enemy's base, there's not really a reason to keep it up there. Hounds are out and about on the battlefield. Are these being produced from a bot lab, or are these just made by a combat engineer? Looks like they came out of a bot lab. Always excited when I see combat engineers leading the charge and helping to turn these tides here. Wow, what on earth happened here? How did we get pushed back so hard? Akreli lost the commander, doing tremendous amounts of damage to this forward T2 bot lab. Do not like to see that at all. That is really bad. Twitcher is up and about here. We need to get this out of combat, my guy. Twitcher goes down, and that is an expensive mistake. I'm still not sure why the bot lab is this far forward, or why the Twitcher wasn't producing pyros here. Fiends, rather. Hounds eventually take down that sumo, the very last T2 unit here for the blue player. Suddenly we are forced to retreat back to our production back here. And now luckily there's some build power back here as well as an anti-nuke, and a little bit of economy. Mausers are out. These are perfect for this field. You can see these T1 defenses are going to melt away under these under the Mauser fire here. I mean, they'd melt away under these hounds too, but look at the projectile difference between these Mausers. Oh, not that. There we go. If we go into free cam mode here, you can actually take a really nice look. Absolutely beautiful. Really good stuff. Whoa, sorry about that. I'm gonna have to remind myself to mute that in post. I hope that didn't just absolutely blow everyone's eardrums out. Accidentally bumped the microphone there. You have to control that camera with the hotkeys, although I'm going to try and figure out a way to do that with the controller, because that would be really nice. But my keys are on the other side of my microphone, so I had to move my hand across. Anyway, that's enough explanation out of me. Why don't we get back to this game? We can see the Mauser tearing apart this game at its source. Spybot being absolutely instrumental in providing the vision here. We're probably wondering how we're having such accurate firing Yeah, typically if you know you're, I mean, we don't have an anti-radar bot, a radar jammer bot here, but typically if you're taking really accurate sustained fire, it means there's probably a spy bot somewhere out and about, and you might want to consider making a counter intrusion facility. Wow, look at these hounds get torn apart by these Mauser. The gunships are here to save the day. Definitely the right move. No anti-air here, so to speak, or to speak of, rather. And so the gunships are going to reign supreme. You can see they start melting down these hounds really quickly. Commander luckily was moved out of the way here, so it didn't go down right next to all the production. But the Mauser are still being a tremendous threat. Now these gunships are finally getting to work on the Mauser after taking down the hounds. We do kill the radar bot, so at the very least they can't see very well. But yeah, these Mauser, I mean, they're so devastating. We're just going to try and keep pushing forward with them. Finally, some Fiends are routed over in this direction to try and save this player. And the T1 bot lab is still up, so okay, this is still salvageable. It's not an ideal position by any measure, but it's definitely still salvageable. Meanwhile, up north, this position is also beginning to cave here. We see a bunch of these T1 fortifications, the Dragon's Teeth. Those do crush under tread of a bull or any T2 vehicle for that matter. So definitely this is going to be a lot less effective than maybe they were hoping here, although some shurikens definitely going to work. They're going to paralyze these bulls nice and easily and allow the bulls to, allow the bulls to be bursted down by this heavy laser turret. Suddenly those bulls are a non-threat and they can be dealt with as long, or over as long a time as you'd like. Very nice to see. Hounds here. Also helping with the push as well. This is where we need to start seeing some trashers or some crossbows built so that we can actually, we can actually start pushing here. Ooh, this bull was not actually killed properly. It does break through the line, forcing the heavy laser turret to look away. And those are vital seconds when it could have been looking elsewhere. But luckily, more shurikens are here. There's nowhere near enough anti-air to deal with all of this, and so, yeah, those units will be mopped up. Oh, we have to prioritize this bull, though. Again, we really need to be looking at this. The bull is routed really nicely as well, I would say. Finally, the shuriken jump on top of it. But man, it's getting dangerously close up there. Orange seems hesitant to commit units over here, but we absolutely need to stop this flow of units from coming into this base. Already the Pyros have completely set everything alight back here. The air lab goes up in smoke. Everything for this player has completely melted away, and suddenly there's a ton of Fiends in your backline, and that is never something you want to see. Luckily there's a Pitbull here to try and mop up some of this. Pitbulls are really good against these Fiends. Do a little bit of AoE on them. They've got a nice little, tiny little splash there. But more importantly, they just do a ton of damage. Yeah, suddenly the orange player is the northmost player. And then south we have a bunch of snipers that have been pumped out. Let's get an accurate read here. That's 5 snipers. Very dangerous unit indeed. When they're walking around and they're cloaked, they are draining 200 energy a second. For reference, that's how much energy it costs to keep a fusion reactor cloaked, a cloaked fusion reactor cloaked. Boy, that's a redundant sentence, isn't it? I know there's some out and about here. We can actually take a look at that. Oh, it's not 200. It's actually 100. That's how much it costs to take two cloaked fusion reactors cloaked. Yeah, I mean, that's a bit of a cheat. Whoa. Whoa. We have a Thor already out and about on the field. Not even out and about. It's in the enemy back line. How the hell did this thing get back here? Whose is that? The lime green player. Nefaros has been single-mindedly working towards a Thor back there. Gets it out on the field and sends it towards the player that has already been killed. No! Oh no, this Thor could have been absolutely instrumental, especially with a bunch of these units. Why are they retreating? There's a T3 tank. This is devastating. This tank could have been what we needed. And it will be brought down. Wow. We're going to be completely free to resurrect a Thor and just send it right back at the enemy. What was going on here? Massive miscommunication between this team. Absolutely, these units should have been helping with that. They should have been pushing forward with the Thor, distracting as many of those shots as possible, and giving the Thor as much of a chance as possible. But that's not what we saw at all. Really unfortunate to see that. Pharaohs does have another one ready. Hopefully there's a bit better communication here, and we can actually, route our team together and actually do a little bit more of a team play rather than a solo move. Some of these consoles here, up on the front lines for our purple player, making sure to eat up a whole lot of this wreckage, and there's a whole lot of this wreckage. 4,500 metal here, 2,900 metal right here. It feels like these aren't updating properly. This should definitely be grouped into one big metal spot, but anyways. We're building all sorts of, we're building like a forward command base here. We've got a T2 radar jammer coming up here. We've got 2 of them actually. I'm not sure why. Maybe we thought we could only build the T2 jammer with the T2 bot, but we actually built it with a one of these oh, not that menu, here it is. Built it with the Twitcher here. I guess 2's better than 1, but not really. It's just the same. More fiends are running by though, and we need to see this answered here. Although there is plenty of hounds. Yeah, that is a lot of hounds. Hounds do a nice little AoE splash as well, so yeah, a lot of these fiends are igniting and self-destructing, or rather death exploding, and they do end up going down. So nicely held by Orange, making sure to have enough units in the right spot here. Meanwhile, the southern flank continues to fall. We have a Fat Boy brought to the front lines, and that's very nice. That's a very natural counter to the Sheldon. You can see the range is 700 on this bad boy, and not sure the exact range on a Sheldon. Looks like it's 850, so the Sheldon does still outrange the Fat Boy, but certainly the Fat Boy, if it gets one shot off on those Sheldon, they're going to all evaporate into smoke. Fat Boy eager to tear down this facility. Yeah, we definitely want to go after the production here. Yep, that's what we're targeting with the Fat Boy. Really nicely done. It's actually the perfect unit for that. And I hate to say it, but this would be a lot of units that we could turn into using this metal here. 3.2 thousand metal, and all of it's in T1 solar panels. Oh, I love to see these get destroyed here. This is the perfect unit to destroy T1 solar panels. It's the Fat Boy. A lot of people measure a unit's success by how fast it is or how much damage it does. No, in my book, it's only about how quickly and how effectively you can eviscerate an enemy's T1 solar farm. And for the Fat Boy, it is no issue. Now we've got an interesting split here. The north half completely ignoring the south half. And yeah, we're just going to try and base race as well as we can. Now these units have already broken through, and it looks like we're just going to try and stem the flow here with some units. That does leave a bunch in the back line though, and luckily we have some gunships out. They're going to be decent at cleaning this up, although wow, they're really missing with those rockets. They need to recalibrate their sensors or something, because this is not very effective here. Finally, they managed to take these down, but whoa, tremendous explosion for Acreli's base, and all of their production, all of their energy conversion, all of it lights up, leaving behind smoking ruin. Now, this Fat Boy is left alone here. No reinforcements to speak of, aside from, well, I guess a crossbow with 2 chevrons and a Janus with 2 chevrons and a Dream. Eventually, though, this is all mopped up very easily. And the southern side holds for the blue team. Now, the next assault will include Vanguards. It will include Fat Boys. It will include Mauser. It will include Bulls. That's a very dangerous army to deal with. Meanwhile, North has been held as well. And we can see that the Sheldon are starting to march forward with plenty of radar and radar jammers here. We've went a little overkill on those, but that's fine. Overkill is better than underkill. We definitely need a whole lot of them. We're starting up a bunch of these pop-up Dragon Claws. We're starting up some of these Rattlesnakes. All really good defensive options. Is it just too much put into defense and not enough put into units? That could be the case here. I'm really expecting... Whoa, that's a nice... Oh, well, it's a decent economy, actually. Remember to eat up these fusion reactors to feed your advanced fusion reactors. We could just finish this fusion reactor with the metal from one of these advanced fusion reactors, or the lab, or, you know, anything really. Just make sure to prioritize the advanced fusion reactor. Get rid of the advanced solar first, actually. Yeah, that's probably my real note. Get rid of the advanced solars, build the advanced fusion, and then use these regular fusions to literally use them to pay for more advanced fusion reactors. You're going to be in a really great spot there. Lots of sumos, but, I mean, there's not really anything that holds up against this many bulls. You can see the bull count is getting really, really strong here. We're up to 12, including this little straggler back here. 12 bulls, sorry, I meant to check the metal count on that, is 10,450 metal, which is ridiculous. That's a Titan's worth of metal in bulls here, and definitely it's going to be enough to tear down these T2 bots with these, especially, again, we have that sort of concave shape that I was talking about, where you push into a line like this, and then you just eliminate one by one down the line, essentially taking 10 really good fights in a row, as opposed to one really big and really bad fight. Now this was some nice positioning. The Fiends actually jump on top of the supporting Hounds back here, as well as the gunships moving in at the same time to deal with the Mauser, forcing this entire army to retreat. And yeah, these gunships are actually becoming really, really annoying. Very nicely done. There's still no anti-air built up here. No forward anti-air, no bots or anything like that. No ships, airships, I mean. Planes, that's the word. That's the word for ships that fly through the air. Planes. There it is. This Vanguard in a whole lot of trouble just being whittled away by these gunships here. These Vanguard are so powerful, but man, you gotta protect them. Gunships are absolutely crippling. I'm so surprised that we haven't seen these fighters move forward here. Yeah, Blue Serpent definitely slacking on the fighter control, at least at the moment. I'm not sure, you know, our APM's got to be going somewhere, but definitely the yellow player was probably really grimacing looking at these Vanguards just dying to a bunch of gunships that they can't really do anything about. Yep, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 probably. That's my guess anyway, if not more. These really have no choice but to retreat all the way back to this air wall that refuses to move forward. Oh, this hurts so badly. Oh, we do have some anti-air here. We finally have some light anti-air bots. It is going to take a while for those anti-air bots to shoot down all these gunships, but I guess it's discouraging enough that we're going to pull the gunships back. Oh, nope, we think better of it. We realize, wait a minute, is that light anti-air? The gunship pilots thought they heard somebody shooting at them, but it turns out it was actually just a crossbowman, a literal crossbowman, shooting tiny little bolts out the window, or at their window, scratching the glass. We do have ticks moving forward, and that's inconvenient here, but we do have sumos, which are a really decent counter to the tick, just because they can fire so often, and they're very tanky, so they're not going to be whittled down very easily. Yeah, really, really good option. I think I like that quite a bit. That being said, the fight has essentially stabilized, and Yellow's economy is absolutely booming. As Kingpin might say, business is booming, and production is as well. We've stopped producing T3 units. I would love to see some Marauders. Marauders are really powerful, especially on big open maps like this, just because you can move them around so quickly. They also have that light anti-air, which is always a bonus. They're not as easily harassed down by gunships, although I still suspect that this many gunships would be devastating. Wow, look at these Vanguard shots firing into this crowd of fiends, though. That's actually not a really good image. Look at these Vanguards absolutely devastating this massive fiend wave pushing forward. That's a bit more of an agreeable way to frame that, isn't it? The fiends, their flames quenching everything in front of them, but they will be short work for these Vanguards, whose plasma cannon shots are very similar to long-range plasma cannons. Wow, again, no anti-air included in this army, and it is absolutely ravaged by these gunships. These gunships have got to be the highest value unit in the entire blue army here. Snipers, Sheldons, welders, all of it. Everything is going down right now. This is horrible. Where are the fighters? Our fighters are just AFK at the moment. So when I say APM stall, this is definitely what I'm talking about. Blue Serpent is no longer watching the game here. Do they have a command delay, perhaps? A little bit of a command delay, but nothing too dramatic. Yeah, these Vanguards are being a problem, though. You can afford to neglect Sheldon fire up to a certain extent with Sheldons, but certainly 13 Vanguard marching towards your door. That's not something you can shy away from engaging or dealing with quite so easily here. Vanguard not unlikely to rain down fire that is absolutely destructive beyond measure, beyond all reason. One might even say. Name drop. Yeah, look at how quickly they can tear down these Shiva. That was half a volley that took down the Shiva to half health here. And getting pretty low. Sun's getting real low. There we go. One of the Shiva does fall down. Another one will be right up next. Vanguard are, in a sense, the Sheldon of the T3 Armada toolkit. And if that isn't the most complex comparison you've ever heard in your life, just trust me when I say that they're a damn powerful unit. Really, really good. They're pretty tanky. They can put out a tremendous amount of damage. You can see that AoE just wiped away about 100 units in one shot. As far as those shots go, they're super, super damaging. Yeah, what's not to love about the Vanguard, especially when you have, I mean, this many of them, right? 12 Vanguards marching on your base. Diamond Dreams absolutely showing us what is possible with the Armada T3 toolkit here. Shivas are breaking through the front lines, essentially because they fear no man and no god, willing to put their lives on the line for the Cortex cause. Their engrams were not uploaded with a fear of spiders, and so pushing into these will be no problem at all. There's tons of Archangels out now. Archangels are actually serious business if you want to talk about anti-air. So I really like that this has been included in this army here. That's definitely going to make this a whole lot more spicy. Now this is interesting. This is also interesting. Yeah, that's 35 sprinters, and they are making a breakneck sprint across the map here. Where are they routed? They're routed right into the heart of Nathan Piggy's base here. Nathan Piggy has not yet figured out that there is still a ton of T1 solar panels to eat up, and so that is unfortunate to see. Now, luckily, what he has noticed is all these sprinters running around over here, so we are going to redirect a bunch of fiends over to try and intercept all of these, and for what it's worth, we're actually doing a really good job here. Yeah, making sure that at the very least these can't just collapse on the base without suffering immensely. That's really what it's all about here. Oh, a single tick. A single tick. To find them, and in the darkness bind them. The sprinters have in fact wrapped on the base, and they destroy all those T1 solar panels. Finally, we get some satisfaction in this game. We get to watch these T1 solar panels ravaged for their metal and wiped off the face of this reason. There we go. The final missiles are launched. The final bombs are blown. The Thors are looking really, really shot up. 1%, 2%, red percent, blue percent. More like a green percent, but you get the idea. Yeah, this Thor needs to go take a rest here. Definitely needs to take a little break. Wait, what? Why are these? How are these bulls passed? How did this happen? How could this happen? These bulls, this hero bull actually got a kill on this Thor. That's not supposed to happen, but that's pretty impressive that it did. Wow, somehow we stunned these. I'm not sure what. Oh, it must have been these tanks here. These Thors must have dropped their EMP missiles and actually stunned the Titan. That's really, really nice. Really impressive stuff. Those Titans are really hard to stun, but if you can, I mean, you can see just how much free damage we were able to do here. We're going to try and self-destruct the Titan, but I think we would have had to do that quite a long time ago, actually. So indeed, the Titan will fall under normal circumstances, meaning that its wreck will encumber the battlefield. Now at this point, wow, that's a lot of Arbiters. Arby's, we have the missiles. As you can see, all of these Sheldon lighting up with flames. Oh, don't put our own missiles, our own units there, though. Yikes, that's gotta hurt. Another wave of sprinters coming in here. Well, you see it. So at least we're responding here. That's quite nice. More missiles coming out of these Arbiters. Wow. Arbiters, really, really devastating. A nuke is launched. Bringing the nukes down. Wow, that was actually really nice. That wiped away a huge amount of the static defense on the front line here. That is quite nice. That's going to help this push fall in a little bit quicker. Gunships, again, getting infinite value on these units here with no anti-air to protect them. There is a chainsaw, a lone chainsaw in the back over here trying to do its very best, but yeah, not going to be enough to stop this Thor at the very least from going down. Maybe even a couple of its counterparts here if we don't see an immediate addressing of this issue. There are crossbow eventually coming out here. There's a bunch of these T1 labs spamming out ticks all over the place. And that's mostly where we're seeing all this come out of. The sprinters have found their way into the back line, though. Are they going to get anything, though? This Juggernaut is looking to take him down. I don't think they will. They almost got it. They were damn close. But they didn't manage to pull it off. Close only counts in horseshoes and Juggernauts exploding right next to your advanced fusion reactors, I suppose. Razorbacks are out on the field, and those are an excellent option. But wow, look at this. 3 Thor tanks, or three Terminator tanks. They're called Thors. They're rolling, coming on down to bring death and deliverance to your base. Low price of all of your economy and your sanity and everything else in between. Firing off those EMP rockets, I love to see it. You cannot paralyze a Juggernaut, but I love the idea anyway. I definitely see what we were going for here, but that's unfortunately not possible. Juggernaut just has too much mass. It just cannot be paralyzed. There's internal circuitry that's able to keep it from being paralyzed, very similarly to, oh, I don't know, I actually can't think of anything else. I guess the Thor itself. Although I think the Thor just gets stronger when you EMP it. Not mechanically, of course, but, you know, when you EMP a lightning unit, like, you know, you're sort of just feeding it energy, right? Now we need to ungroup these here. The Juggernaut does fire a shotgun blast, right? So when these are just standing right next to each other, this is about the most value that you can give this Juggernaut here. So I'd love to see him right-click, drag across like this, and then drag across this base here. Be a nice way to control these. Are we gonna go for the Juggernaut? It almost looks like we're focusing the Juggernaut here. We are gonna get it, and wow, I guess that takes down all those gunships. That's a convenient side effect here. Terminator does break into the back line. This one's looking really healthy. There's no commanders here to shut this down either. We're gonna paralyze the T3 lab here. I guess we really don't want this Juggernaut to come out. I guess I can't blame him. I wouldn't want to see that Juggernaut come out either. Yeah, this Thor's getting some shots in on this advanced fusion reactor though. 1 or 2 shots away from total annihilation. Ooh, but they don't get it. Wow, that was actually really close. 3% health left on this this advanced fusion reactor here. We have the Titans out and about to protect this southern side, so these Thors are having a really rough time being lasered down by those Titans there, as well as these gunships. These gunships have gotten tremendous value in this game, so I absolutely love what we're doing in the back line here from green. Yep, you can see we've got a whole bunch of air labs, a couple of T1 air labs, and a T2 air lab. T2 is making gunships, T1 is making fighters. I think that's perfectly acceptable, considering how little we've seen any sort of air shenanigans from anybody on the red team. The red team up north has basically been stuck in a stalemate, although this resurrected tank right here might be what we need in order to break it. These snipers in the back are also going to be tremendously helpful for dismantling any of this static defense in a single shot. So that's really, really nice to see. We don't have the power anymore to fund these pulsars here. Or rather, these starlights. The mobile pulsars, if you will. Suddenly things are looking pretty desperate here. The hold down south is just barely holding up. Against ticks, might I add. These gunships are really struggling to hit them. Luckily, the Cortex gunships actually have a little bit of an AoE to their attack. If we highlight this, you can see there's actually a decent AoE field, which does mean that there's a nice little bit of well, just a slightly higher chance that they're actually going to be able to hit any of those light, fast units. Thors are in the main base. And they're angry. Advanced fusion reactor lights up, and that knocks a ton of these gunships out of the sky, but it also knocks basically all of Blue's economy off of the face of Ice Scream version 2.5. Self-destructing that one, get it off the map. Not bad at all. I do love to see it. We also light up a whole bunch of the light blue players' economy here. Down to a single bot lab, if I'm reading this correctly here. Yeah, things are starting to look desperate. Getting close on the action. Bajert. Bajert. The blue player does not have the energy to fund this Juggernaut. And this is really where it all counts. Titans versus Razorbacks. Wow, we get to cosplay as a gunship here. Pew pew pew, pew pew pew, pew pew pew. Funk 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 funk. We are one of the gunships. We are the Hornet, or the Wasp, whatever these are called. Shoo, 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 shoo. Shoo, shoo, shoo. I love to get in close and watch these units work. Very, very powerful stuff. We can see this Titan, or rather this Thor, is getting dangerously close to the back line here. And indeed it will start to light up all of the production centers here. Very, very nice. Oh. Advanced fusion reactor does light up like a brilliant, explosive Christmas tree. Everything falls, everything burns, and the blue team is reduced down to Neferos, who is the last remaining bastion of any kind of technology on this map. Although I guess the green player up north here has a bunch of technology, but they've already tapped out of this game. And so it will only be a matter of time before all hell breaks loose. All hell beyond all reason. Dun dun dun. Yeah, we just gotta send everything across. Yep, there we go. We got the ticks moving. We know where they are. We know what to do. No, Pharaohs maybe just set down the controller. Didn't quite know how to resign in the top right-hand corner. Pretty much, if you're the last player remaining, you're looking at surrendering. It's about time. It's okay. It's all right. Nobody's gonna judge you. Nobody's gonna think any less of you. You tried your hardest, and in the end, it didn't even matter. We do sacrifice the commander, but we don't resign. Come on, Neferos. Come on now, mate. It's on the top right-hand corner. You can just click that handy little resign button, and you're gonna be well on your way to getting into your next game. We can see the final commander resting atop the hill up here, and it is going to be a pain to get up there and deal with that. Do we have any gunships or anything? How are we gonna... okay, we've got some bombers. That's certainly an option. I would love to see Neferos just click that resign button instead of just walk away from the computer. That would certainly work a little bit better. But we will fight until the very last soulless commander has died. Oh, Neferos has actually taken over the space up here. Alright, nice. So we sacrificed our commander over there, but then we're keeping this one alive. We're self-destructing everything. Alright, this should be satisfying. Oh, just this stuff over here. Okay. We're gonna play hide the commander. Oh boy. I think we are going to play hide the commander. Single juggernaut here for Neferos. Not sure what he plans to do with that. Not sure what we really plan to do with any of this. We're back to producing fighters, but now there's tons of anti-air immediately underneath our facilities here. So that's not really going to be worth much. Well, this has been an excellent game here. Really, really nicely done by the red team to continue to scale. This often turns into a scale-off, just see who can produce the most in the least amount of time. So it's really important to put some really experienced techers in the back line, at least one or two. That way everybody gets their T2 nice and quick. Love to see when those T2 Armada vehicles come out, because you get those consoles up, which are super, super nice. Also love to see the Twitchers handed out from the Cortex faction, although I feel like with only the ability to produce the Fiend really of any use, it does kind of mean that you're sort of forced into a lane that you might not be comfortable with. Bombers are finally trying to tear down this facility. Now Pharaohs is just continuing to hide here. I'm surprised the chat isn't lit up with people telling him to surrender here. Finally, some energy converters explode. We should probably go after these T2 ones. That would probably also chain react a bunch of these here construction turrets. Slowly start bombing all this down. There we go. We light up all that, and it will not be long before the advanced fusion reactors go. The Pharaohs has no more energy to cloak this commander, and I think we can finally get out of this game. Oh, I'm gonna be an old man. I'm old, Brightworks. Getting ridiculous at this point. Not sure why you'd even want to stick in a game like this. Let me know down below what you would do in this situation. How you feel about people fighting to the very last second, even when they are not even really making an attempt to do anything here. Let's see the Juggernaut trying its best. Not really getting much effect here. The commander is finally spotted, thank goodness. Oh, and he decides to self-destruct it. Okay, well, that almost feels like a little bit of bad manners there. A little bit of BM. But anyways, thanks a ton for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Down to the very last man. I know Neferos sure did. Feel free to share this video around, share it with a friend. Always love to hear from you guys down in the comments. And consider subscribing if you like daily Beyond All Reason content. Don't see a reason why you wouldn't if you do. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.